A very good, happy Monday morning to everyone out there. I hope that you all had a phenomenal weekend. Landon here with you to bring you your latest weather and odd forecast, courtesy of our friends at On Target. Folks, we have got a winter weather shenanigan mess that is in store for us here across the Wobbles community. Going to be talking about the overspread of the big picture view first and foremost, and then we're going to dive into the intricate details. Not going to be anything overwhelming, but I do think that many of us could be experiencing quite a few issues regarding the Tuesday morning commute as a result. So let's look at what's unfolding here. We got this activity brewing here over Colorado, over New Mexico, all this mess here over in this direction. This is going to help spin up this low pressure system here along the Gulf that's going to ride right along the Gulf Coast and then off to the north and east. That's going to be helping to advect loads of moisture northward. And we've got this area of high pressure bringing in these northerly wind components up here. And we get the colder air sliding down, we get the warmer moisture that's pumping up, and that is somewhat cutting a corridor of some snow and ice and wintry mix accumulations that we are anticipating throughout the overnight and rolling on into the very early morning hours of our Tuesday as well. All right, let's get a look across the region. We got a beautiful sunrise overlooking Morgantown to kick things off. You can see the cloud cover that is beginning to move in as a result of the cloud debris moving in ahead of our next weather maker. Got the new Morgantown Bacon Trust building sitting right there in front of us. Got the new public library for Butler County being built there off in the distance as well. Over in that direction. Want to jump over here? We do have some winter weather headlines that has already been presented here, and it only includes one county here in and around the Wobbles community. That's why we're looking at the Morgantown Skycam. Butler County has been included in a winter weather advisory along with a good portion of the Commonwealth that pretty much rides right along the western Kentucky parkways and northward to an extent. Folks, that does not mean the rest of the community is not going to see and feel impacts from this, but currently we've got a winter weather advisory out for minor snow and ice accumulations that could lead to very quickly deteriorating travel conditions throughout the overnight. Again, folks, that isn't just for Butler County. Just because we're not in the advisory doesn't mean that other locations aren't going to get in on some slushy accumulations out there that could obviously have negative impacts to travel, all right? Let's jump back over here and get a look across the region. D93 Skycam underneath clear skies at the moment. A little bit further east than Morgantown, so the cloud debris hasn't quite made it there just yet, but it's going to be rolling in here very shortly. Current temperatures early this morning would appear that we are in for quite the predicament. Temperatures already tanked all the way down between the low and mid 20s region wide. Got the cold spot up here in the flats of Woodbury, sitting at 20.2 degrees down here along the Tennessee border. Tennessee sitting, or Franklin, right around the 23 degree threshold. Let's get at a big overview of what's going to take place before we dive into everything that's going to be unfolding here. And we want to take a look at what is exactly going to unfold here over the course of the next roughly 24 hours and what we can anticipate thereafter. So you can see there out across the west, we got the surface low pressure system. Keep your eyes right here along the Gulf, folks. That's where that low is going to spin up. Begin to advance all of that moisture northward like what we were just discussing. And then we have the phasing of these two systems occurring right across the Commonwealth. We got the short wave that we was pushing here from the west. Got high pressure that was bringing in the cold air from this direction. Cold air crashing in from here. Warm air advecting in out of the Gulf. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand. Warm, moist air lifted up over the cold air mass. That moisture falls through a sub-freezing layer. Bam! We don't have rain. We have ice. We have freezing rain. And we have snow, and it looks like we're going to have to deal with a good little chunk of that here throughout the overnight, all right? So here we are looking at the big picture view and the setup with all the moisture coming in here. Now it's time to go through the details with a fine comb because, yes, we have numerous question marks regarding this weather maker. It's Kentucky weather, folks. We wouldn't have it any other way. Let's jump in here and let's get a close-up view at what the simulated radar could look at courtesy of our short-range model guidance. It's going to be dry throughout today. And we work into sunset, and we are anticipating light rain showers or perhaps a mix of ice pellets and sleet. Along with the rain, maybe a few snowflakes mixing in here as well, working into the region at some point between 7 and 9 p.m. this evening. This plain Jane rain or a wintry mix is going to continue. And then as we get late into tonight with temperature profiles attempting to crash, we get this changeover. You can see the more purples that are popping up here. And then the blues catch up for a brief period here of some light to even moderate snow at times. Might have a few snow bursts here, especially right along and east of I-65. Looks like we could be getting some heavy snow at times even over in this direction during the pre-dawn hours of our Tuesday morning. If models hold true by roughly 6, 7, and 8 a.m., bulk of the activity will be out of here. We'll have scattered flurries to deal with as it continues here across the region. Now, one of the reasons why I'm not overly confident that we're not going to be seeing any major amounts out of this is the behavior of our temperature profiles as we work and we progress throughout the day. Let's take a look. We are bottoming out here early this morning. If you'll recall, we were all the way down to around the 20-degree mark. Model guidance is showing us 6 or 7 degrees above that, okay? So, models might not be handling the cold air to the best of their ability. Nonetheless, as we work into this afternoon, we're looking at peak heating rolling in here right around roughly the 42 to 43 degree mark as far as highs are concerned. And yes, that is important because that is well above freezing. We'd have much better opportunity if we could keep temperatures much closer to the freezing threshold. Now let's roll in here and let's take a look throughout the overnight, where we were just talking about whenever that transition is going to occur right around midnight on into the pre-dawn hours of our Tuesday morning. Look at our temperatures. Folks, we were just looking at that changeover to light and moderate snow, but temperatures are showcasing and holding right around the freezing mark, or more importantly, just above the freezing mark of 32 degrees. You all know what that means. We could be getting some temperature profiles sneaking up in here that we refer to as the warm nose, where we get this warm layer of air that gets trapped right above the surface that can greatly impact snow totals because it forces that snow to switch over to a freezing rain, plain Jane rain, or sleet. And folks, freezing rain and sleet simply does not accumulate nearly as fast as what snowfall does. So right now we're going to be looking at freezing rain and a wintry mix there, and then the transition over to a brief period of all snow. I think that that's going to impact totals here for us, but that remains to be seen. It's why we're going to be going through this with a fine cone here over the next several hours, all right? So looking right around here, whenever the snow is falling, I don't want to get too deep into the woods, but there's something that I want to mention. Whenever we talk about and we refer to a warm nose, we are looking at the 0 degree line right here, right, on our sounding. Some of the models are taking this temperature and dew point line and they're swinging it to have a warm nose to where that will impact the snow that's falling throughout the atmosphere. And then more importantly, right here at the surface, right here at the 3 a.m. time frame, the sounding still has us at 33 degrees, which is a degree above freezing. So we could get some slushy accumulation on the ground, and then it could steadily ease itself on and melt away rather quickly. So these are a few question marks that could bring a bust potential with what we're going to experience here, okay? On the other hand, if we can get the colder air in here faster and the temperatures are behaving colder than model guidance, we could be looking at higher snow totals, but right now this looks like a more likely scenario. Regardless, it looks like we will be scampering, or have the potential at least, to scamper right around the freezing mark. And then as we work throughout our Tuesday, those temperatures are going to kind of somewhat be sliding here. And it looks like that we'll be remaining below freezing as we work further throughout the day, despite the opportunity of getting some breaks of sunshine in here, okay? So, several things to talk about, and one of the things I want to bring up here is the warm nose that we were just discussing. Take a look at what this creates. This is a forecasting nightmare. It's why all of our fellow forecasters, meteorologists out there have our bottle of Advil and acetaminophen on standby with us trying to forecast this in real time. Yet the layer of warm air that interjects itself throughout the precipitation column, and depending upon how deep that warm nose is going to be a great determining factor of what type of precipitation you're going to see. So if you're getting freezing rain or sleet, you're going to have a warm nose up above you that is cutting in as the snow falls. It's allowing it to melt and then refreeze as sleet before it hits the ground. Whenever we eradicate that warm nose, we see the full transition over to the snowfall that we would much prefer to have out there. Right now, worst case scenario with this event, we get freezing rain in here to put a nice glaze of ice over things, and then we put a nice coating of snow over top of it. Folks, if we get that sort of scenario, roadways, simply put, going to be slicker than a baby well out there, all right? So that's something to take note of for our Tuesday morning commute, to say the least. Now the question mark that is on everyone's mind, Landon, how much snowfall are we getting? Well, we can take a gander over here and give you the latest. We are looking at anywhere from nothing at all up to an inch of total ice, rain, and snow accumulation. There will be the opportunity for localized areas to sneak in a bit more, especially those further to our north. Butler County currently included in the winter weather advisory. So that's where the highest totals are expected. We could have anywhere from a dusting, upwards of 2 inches of snowfall. If we overachieve a bit, we could get upwards of 3 inches of snowfall, as mentioned by the National Weather Service with their winter weather advisory headlines, all right? We don't need to be focused on amounts. We should be focused on impacts. Any amount of a dusting on the ground that we get out there, like the little snow event that we had here a few weeks ago, folks, we get snow rates that trump ground temperatures. So if we have rates of snow that pick up a moderate and heavy burst and the temperature is 33 degrees, the snow rates can overcome that to create very slick travel, especially on bridges and roadways. We received numerous reports of accidents from Butler, Edmonson County, and those locations with the last little dusting of snow we got in here. This looks like it could potentially be more snowfall than that, so please be aware. Make sure all your friends and family are weather aware, and of course, stay tuned into us here at Weather or Not across all channels. We got all hands on deck with our entire team on board to bring you the latest, and as promised, we will be updating you steadily here as we work and we progress throughout the day. That is a promise. Full breakdown of your next 6-day weather forecast. We got the opportunity at some hit-and-miss showers this afternoon after increasing clouds throughout this morning. Highs right around the mid-40s. And then we get the wintry mix change over tonight. Then a brief change over to burst of all snow. Minor snow accumulations could result in hazardous travel conditions. Folks, keep your fingers crossed. We want just enough snow to make for great sledding, right? That's all that we're asking for. We're not asking for 8 to 12 inches of snow, although I might be, but we want just enough out there to get out there and have a little bit of fun. Hospital Hill is calling our name. I can hear it from here. Temperatures, high temperatures achieved early on Tuesday. Those temperatures will be falling with brisk westerly winds throughout the day. Bottoming out between the mid and upper teens Tuesday night. Wednesday is sunshine and mid-40s. Then we get the colder air back in here Thursday. Keeping eyes on another weather maker Thursday night into Friday that could start off as a wintry mix and then transition over to a plain Jane rain event on Friday. On into the start of the weekend as well, with highs recovering back between the low and mid-40s. My apologies. We have Megan is asking if we have the toboggans that I'm wearing available. Yes, we do in our merchandise shop. Visit the Weather or Not blog. You can click on the menu item, go to our latest shop. We got our new beanies that are in here. North Face, they are rock solid. Got the new hoodies and t-shirts available there for you as well. You all take care of yourselves, take care of each other, stay weather aware.